Luke. Luke, are you up in the mountains?
Yes, sir.
What kind of snow they gonna think you might get?
Hopefully nothing. I'm ready for spring, and we've had a pretty mild winter. We've only missed, I think, 4 days of school at most.
In what county?
Ashe County.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm born and raised in Watauga and grew up there, so
Right.
I'm used to missing some days.
I can see that, yeah. So do you get now Ashe County? I've been collecting some small toys or puppets or whatever. I got to watching this idiot TV show called Southern Justice, and they film out of Ashe County as one of them.
They do. They're finally done.
Oh, they stopped doing that. Well, I was going to take those toys. I got a big black trash bag of new ones and take them up there to Hoppy.
Well, I got some bad news for you about Hoppy.
No.
He is actually looking at a second-degree murder charge right now.
Wait a minute.
I hate to bust your bubble here.
Well,
reality TV is not all the reality it's cracked up to.
You know, Hoppy was bad-mouthing his sister about being a drug addict and all this other crazy stuff, and now you're telling me he's in the system?
Well, it was a shooting that happened while he was on duty, and the SBI investigated it and filed charges against him. So I don't know what's actually said and done. I just know that it doesn't look good for the county I work in.
Oh, Lord. Well, I've got a building lot over on Beach, and I have a ski condo over on Sugar. So I spend a lot of time up in that area.
I'm well versed in both of those towns.
Yeah. I love going by Ashe County and getting the cheese. And then, of course, we like to come down to Boone and during some of the football games and stuff like that. But I hope he can beat that rap. Right.
Sorry to ruin your
gift. So I appreciate knowing that. When I go up, I'll just drop off the gifts and not say, "How about giving these to Hoppy?" And look, you know what I mean? Oh. Bless his heart. Okay, let's go over a couple of things for tonight. Whew, that'll be a tough one to come back from. Have any of you had a chance to go over what Kim sent about using the reference tab in Microsoft Word, either with your Apple or your PC? Any of you mess with that? Okay.
Yes, I've looked at it.
Okay, this is week 8, and I realize we've got 7 more classes, but within those 7 weeks, there are 2 more weeks when we actually don't meet. So you've got 10 more weeks. Do not wait. Let me start again. Do not wait until late April or early May to start messing with that. Now would be the time to make sure there are no bugs in what you're doing and try to get over with. And again, I want to thank Kim. I have messed with it, and I didn't do it on the Apple, but I did it on a PC, and it's excellent. It really does work. And I wish I'd have had that when I was doing my dissertation. I didn't do old school. All right, next item. Have you had a chance to look at the evidence artifact sheet that I dished out last week that goes through all of the components, but you were to focus on the references, the data snapshots, and the artifacts for the APSL? Did you start looking at that? Okay. We'd go over it on the second. I just want to make sure that you sort of realize where you do your narrative as you talk about in your reference, that line in the reference column. And then, of course, to support your research and your EVOS or EOG, EOC scores, that you do support that what you've done by way of your artifact submission. That's an important document. You're going to use that for every semester. Now, I believe I sent you something this afternoon. Everybody check your email. It's basically the abstract for writing the APSL, and I didn't mean to be sarcastic or snippy when I said you were to replace your work where the red typing is and then remove the red typing. You know, in public schools or issues, oh Lord, we got somebody at the football game. What's the score, Danielle? Or is that soccer?
No, it's my daughter is track, so I do everything. I work. I come straight from work to the track field, and I do class.
Wait a minute.
As I watch the game.
They're running track in the dark.
Oh yeah, we have lights. We're at West Forsyth High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
This is our first meet outdoor season, so.
Okay. And they do what? And at a high school, what time do they start? 3:30, 4 o'clock.
I think it started at 4:30. I don't know. I missed our first event. I didn't get here about 5.
They do go on for a long time if you've never been involved in a track meet. I will tell you.
Absolutely. And my daughter is. Oh, I'm sorry. And my daughter's running the absolute last event.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay. So
Well, good luck with that. In the abstract that I sent you this afternoon, as I said, public school laws are usually written, or explanations are usually written after a situation occurs. So that means I did have a student who used this template, put her stuff in these spaces, but left that red print on the document. So that's why I came back and said, and then remove the red print after you put your data in those squares. This will give you a fair shot if you've not started doing anything serious in the APSL to begin with. And that brings up another topic. If you've looked at your Blackboard page, you will have noticed, because most of you are sending your work into TaskStream for your clinical coach to look at. As I understand, in talking to Dr. Lamb, some of that stuff has been sent back. It's a little rough. It's not in a format. So I said to him, would it be appropriate, since they've got this new process, normally in a face-to-face class, we would spend time doing classwork, and then we would switch gears and spend time doing evidence artifact work. Well, that's what I'm going to offer up to you. So if you'll go to your Blackboard account, you will see the 5 components in APSL. Now, there are no points for doing this. It's not going to be graded. But what I would like to do is for you to submit your work. I think it's, D or E? Yeah. Put your work up as you go along. I will read it, and then in the square below, I will make comments based off of some of the documents that I've sent you already. So I'm just giving you another opportunity to have somebody read it with no grade, no penalty, no anything before it gets down the road and those people start doing stuff that I'd rather get a look at it early on and offer suggestions. You take them or not, but then as you go down the line with the clinical coach, they could get serious and they want you to head it off before it gets to the evaluator. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I suggested to Dr. Lamb, I said, well, they could just send it to me in an email. He said it would be better if they made those spaces down at the bottom, which I did, where they could load it up and then only you can see it and I can see it, and then I will make comments. Looks good. I think you're ready to move to the next section. And you considered this. I may read as close to the point where I'm talking about subject, verb, punctuation, that kind of mess. So don't take it personal. It's just what I can see and what I would suggest you do to replace it or change. So it's there. If you want to use it, feel free to do that. All right, now, let's see. We talked about that, and what I sent you this afternoon is already in your handbook. It's around pages 13 to 18, but it doesn't have that red writing in it for you to specifically add to and remove. Next week, well, this is week 8, by the way. One of you had already sent that assignment where you actively involve with a video with some cartoons or things or something like that. The first time I watched it, I almost fell out of my chair because it was hilarious. And then the second time I watched it, I looked at it for content and what you were doing and saying. I couldn't remember who did what and who sent it, but it was excellent, on point. Somebody's holding their hand across their mouth. Was that you? Okay, maybe I don't. Anyway, it was a great presentation. You know, oh Lord. Well, we don't need. I don't believe that's on my agenda. He said, don't forget week 8's assignment, 3 to 6 minutes of with using a visual display. So whoever did that very first one, you were right on point, and it was excellent. All right. If you like, I did mention to upload your writing so that you can start letting me look at it. And you can tell your clinical coach that you're doing this or not. That's entirely up to you. Now, the last thing I have on my agenda is don't forget next week, spring break for Gardner Webb. That means we won't have a meeting Thursday night at 7 o'clock. What I would rather you do is to continue to work on your evidence artifact work for this time that we're not in class with anything, assignments or whatever. So you really do have something to do. We're just not going to have class. With all that being said, what questions have you got tonight? None. Well, I will admit your peer reviews have been excellent. Your writings about everything you've done and how you would do this or do that have been excellent. That activity for week 8 was a hoot. And I really would like to look at some other stuff such as your writing and your work, if you feel comfortable with me looking at it. Not for grade. You'll notice there are no points involved. It's just another set of eyes for you to have someone to look at it and give you some feedback. Okay? Any questions?
Dr. Bowen, can you go over one more time where that will be submitted at for you to look over?
If you will go over to, I'm sort of backwards, hold on. If you're looking at your computer on Blackboard, it's under activities or items where you've been loading your stuff for week 1, week 2. Go all the way down to the bottom and you will see APSO 1, APSO 2. Right there it is. Pow, 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 pow. So now, but that's where you'll find it, Luke.
Got it.
Okay. Great question. On the far left where everything is listed, and I've separated under the APSO for each of the parts. So go ahead and move it over. You've got the format that was in the handbook. You've got the format that I sent you this afternoon. I'm just trying to get you down that path so you can see the style and maybe the method in which they would read stuff and what you're working on. That's it. But that's where it is, Luke. So if you put it up, I'll read it. If it's perfect and, in my opinion, ready to submit, you can score, I think, up to 4 points. If I see it being ready to submit, in my opinion, you would get at least a 3 or a 4. But that's just my opinion. You still got the clinical coach, and then you two come to an agreement as to when you're ready to move it over for an evaluation. Okay? So it's just another set of eyes and another view for you to consider. All right, what else, guys? All right, well, if you're not going to be busy tomorrow, make a mad dash for the grocery store, except in Swansboro, and get. What do people do with all that milk and bread? I really don't understand the mentality. It's not like they get ham or cheese or stuff to make sandwiches with. It's milk and bread. I don't know if that's a North Carolina thing or not, but I've been here all of my life, and it's always been milk and bread.
Well, I go on a field trip with 45th graders starting Monday to Camp Don Lee in New Bern or close to Arapahoe, North Carolina. So please pray for me. Pray my strength. Yeah. Because I'm just afraid I don't kill. I don't know what we're going to do if it snows. We're a couple of $1,000s in, so there's no turning back now.
I understand. Camp Don Lee, is that over there going toward, you go over to Beaufort and you head toward Swan Porter in that area?
I don't know.
It's in Pamlico County.
Pamlico, well, that's heading toward, you go across, you take the ferry ride, and if you got time, you could have gone over to Aurora and dug around.
Come on, get out! Sorry.
Oh, Lord, go right ahead. There's a happy mother. You go over to Aurora and pan through the stuff and pick up Shark's Tea. That's a free event in Aurora, North Carolina. But you catch the ferry, and I think that one's free. But it's going in that direction. Excellent activity. Yeah.
Yes, it's very, yeah.
Middle schoolers?
No, 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, you might have a fighting chance.
They may have a fighting chance.
Well, I'm just telling you. We used to take 8th graders to the coast. The Episcopal Diocese, the Trinity Center on Emerald Isle.
Okay.
I'm still having flashbacks of those fields. Lord help. Anyway, unless y'all have some questions or whatever, consider my offer to read your work, move it over, find that spot and load it, and then keep doing what you're doing. Don't forget, this week was week 8 for that week 8 assignment. And be creative when you do your 3 to 6 minute presentation. I'm still thinking about that one. But anyway, any questions? Okay, I'll talk to y'all. Now, what I will do is send you a reminder the Wednesday before class, just so you won't get off the rail and forget all about us. Just to send you a reminder. Don't forget, we have class tomorrow at 7 o'clock and this kind of stuff. Okay? Okay, have a good week. Enjoy your Gardner Webb spring break. That's why we don't have class next week. I know. Spring break at Gardner Webb. Okay, guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye now.
Bye.